Other issues continue to trouble convention delegates, particularly issues related to sovereignty and how to limit the power of the national government. Madison's role in these debates is crucial.
I mean, Madison is the one who could make it work, who could see the society and the importance of protecting minorities as well as majorities. He's the sophisticated, complex, nuanced thinker, as we would say today.
The whole construction of the Constitution is something of a miracle in that it did something that one would not have thought possible, namely create a power system sufficient for not only domestic control of a large area, but effective in international affairs, and yet compatible with those ideals of individual liberty and of equality and of a peaceful domain. And how they did this was to construct a most intricate system of balances.
We talk about checks and balances, we talk about separation of powers, and we don't often distinguish between the two. Separation of powers is the tripartite distribution of powers of government to executive, judicial, and legislative. So checks and balances is, in fact, is a way of trying to describe in more particular terms what are the particular powers that enable the different branches to defend themselves against the encroachments of the other, and sometimes which also create alliances between branches.
Power is divided not only among the legislative, executive, and judicial branches of government, but between federal and state governments.
Sovereignty says there has to be one final sense of authority, right? And federalism says, no, what we're actually doing is we're taking sovereign powers and we're dividing them among the states and the national government. Those powers are going to overlap, which means there's going to be some tension and conflict and competition between the different levels of government. If there's going to be one sovereign in this system, it's really going to be the people. And this is the argument that James Wilson makes in defense of the Constitution right after the convention adjourns.
The exact relationship between the states and the federal government will never be finally settled. It'll always be the product of negotiation between the powers in public life in this country. But at least the outline of it was set out then in such a way as to presume the continuing independence to the extent possible of the states.